Welcome to the forecast for November 11th until November 17th. My name is Desiree Delune, your acupuncturist, herbalist, and astrologer, and we're going to talk about this momentous Taurus full moon that we have coming up this week. This is a pretty rich week. I really love what we get to play with. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen to get started. And this time I'm actually going to share my screen. My apologies for the last time where we had some technical issues around that. Okay, so I'm going to make this really big for you. Okay, here we go. So Monday, let's start with Monday. Now, what I talk about on Monday, just remember that a lot of these aspects, other than the moon, will be carrying out for the rest of the week. So definitely stick around for all of Monday's description because you'll get at least from there a really good snapshot on what you're going to be working with for the week. So on Monday, we have Sun in Scorpio right here, and we are still in Scorpio season, which is a very beautiful time of transformation, of self reflection, of following our intense curiosities and passions. So it's a very deeply yin in many ways because it likes to deal with the underworld. It likes to deal with understanding the root causes, the depth of things. So there, if you're finding yourself going down some rabbit holes lately, then it's because we are in Scorpio season. Now, let's go over to our moon real quick. So not only is our sun in a water sign, we also have our moon down here in a water sign. It's in the sign of Pisces. And Pisces, it's very empathetic. It's very intuitive and imaginative and creative. It is definitely the opposite of being logical and analytical. It's more romantic in nature and it loves to experience and fully absorb its environment. So that's why it is hyper sensitive to its surroundings and to people. So it's extraordinarily compassionate too, very considerate about the feelings and the experiences of the people around them. It appreciates beauty. It's very artistic. It's very creative. So if your moods are leaning a bit more towards that, remember the moon represents our internal world. It represents our feelings and our emotions. So what's happening with our moon here in Pisces, like our desire to explore our creativity and explore our imagination and even our intuition is heightened. Now look, not only do we have moon in Pisces, but also we have moon that is conjunct Neptune. So if you see this trident looking planet, that's Neptune. They're right next to each other. It's also conjunct Saturn too. So it's sandwiched in between these two. It is a little bit closer to Neptune. So this is very profound in terms of your intuition. The Neptune represents also the unseen. It represents things that are coming from other realms or dealing with energies, especially. It is very psychic in nature. It is incredibly intuitive. And so when we have two planets essentially that are known to increase intuition, and Neptune is in its home sign of Pisces, right? So Neptune is also exalted here in this position. It's in the most ideal position. It's strengthened and empowered here. And the fact that the moon is right next to it, this just tells us that you are able to fully feel into things. Like your access to your feelings and your access to your spidey senses are just extreme right now. Now, I will say though, there is Saturn that is influencing these two planets. So with Saturn being here, this is going to bring some order. It's going to bring some structure and even being responsible. I kind of look at this as you're going to receive, some sort of some sort of download, for example, or some sort of like creative idea that is just so strong and coming through easily. And then you have Saturn, which is a very material planet. It's very earthy in nature, and it's taking those things that you are seeing with your mind's eye, okay, or what you're sensing and feeling, and actually doing something with it, either like creating something with it, bringing it into this world, or holding space for it. So I like that it's not just completely disconnected into the ethereal and only floating in the ethereal realms, but we have the material realm as part of the mixture here too. So I'm gonna say, Monday's quite a powerful day. Actually, this whole week, we're gonna see those of us who are empaths that you're really on it. Like you are able to see into people, see into situations and circumstances. I mean, especially with the sun in Scorpio, like nothing is going to go past you. Like people are not going to be able to fool you. How about that? You're not easily fooled in this kind of situation. You can see deeply right into the truth. So the masks, the facade, the fakeness, that kind of stuff, it's not, you're not going to buy it, and you're not going to buy into it. It's not going to phase you at all. So you'll be able to really see the truth behind every situation, circumstance, etc. Okay, so that is our moon situation. We do have, a nice trine though, which is lovely. We have a trine between the sun and Neptune, and the sun and the moon. So this further just illuminates all of those things that we were talking about. And you're going to feel more stability here in your emotions. When sun and moon are in a trine conversation, you're going to feel a lot more calmer in that sense, even though we have this intensity and passion, but there is like a centering that happens. There's a coherence between your thoughts and your feelings. So I like that in this situation, it's much easier to navigate the extreme ups and downs, because yeah, the world's going through ups and downs, but when we have a trine between the sun and the moon, you can move through any challenge, chaos with this grace, with this centeredness, with this calm. So I really love having that as part of Monday. Okay, we do have the sun in opposition to Uranus here. So this is going to be around till November 23rd. All right. So since it's around till November 23rd, just expect some sudden disruptions, unexpected events. But you know what? You can handle it. There's a lot of things that are present for us that I just talked about that allows us to be able to handle anything that just comes up randomly and just, kind of like blindsides you. And that's the thing with Uranus. You can't predict, you can't plan for. It just comes, and we have to deal with it when it comes. One thing I do like about this whole arrangement, though, sorry about that. I'm going to turn my notifications off. One thing about this arrangement, though, is that it is going to potentially give you some breakthrough, because that's the thing with Uranus, it's very a breakthrough energy. So maybe like breakthrough ideas or breakthrough like approaches and ways to go about something, your creative project. So if you've been feeling super stuck in how to proceed forward and move forward, you're going to have this powerful like opening, and it brings opportunities. That is one thing that is cool about Uranus. It may not be simple and easy, however, it can bring open new opportunities for you that wasn't before available to you. So very, very nice to have that. Okay. We have, let's see, moon that is square Jupiter right here. Here's the moon. And then we have a square red line to Jupiter in this planet that looks like a 4. This can intensify, the feelings and the intuitions that you are going through. So, but it can also bring a lot of excitement and exuberance, even though it's a square. Jupiter is a benefic planet and tends to bring a lot more positivity than struggles, but sometimes excess, okay? Because it expands whatever it touches. So one of the things we need to be cautious about is the overindulging here. Whenever we're dealing with, Jupiter in a difficult aspect especially with the moon, because the moon is the physical body and eating. So like overdoing it in eating, overdoing it in drinking, overdoing it even in socializing. Okay, because moon represents relationships. So we don't want to get too immersed or too clingy, for example. Also in spending too, in spending as well. So just be cautious of that, which, it's very likely because we have a lot of our sensations, it's not like a level 7, it's like a level 13 that we're going through. So it's very common in that situation to like try to find foods or things that will kind of tone that down. So, and just kind of distract you. So again, be cautious. All right. So let's talk about over here in Sagittarius. We have 2 planets here. We've got Mercury in Sagittarius and we have Venus in Sagittarius. Venus is not going to be here much longer because it's in this 29th degree. But as of today, and for just today, actually, it moves tomorrow. But as Venus here is in Sagittarius, and Mercury, okay, your mind and your desires and your pleasures, because Venus represents our pleasures and our hobbies, and Mercury represents our thinking. Like our mind and desires are absolutely going to be around a lot of fun, because Sagittarius is fun. It's a fire sign. It's more like it needs adventure and excitement. It needs some thrill. It needs, something active, and it likes new experiences. So your mind might want to be searching and learning something different. Like I don't know what it is up with me and DIY stuff, but now I'm like hardcore into candle making in addition to soap making for my hobbies. So I'm just playing around with, different formulas. Well, I always work with formulas because I make a lot of herbal recipes and blends, essential oil blends, things of that nature. But now we've just transferred over into wax. So how it interacts with wax. So anyways, it's like there is a craving and a desire to really expand our mind and expand our personal experiences. So if you've been wanting to like change things up lately, you've been feeling that or want to learn new things, this is the reason why, because Sagittarius is all about expanding the mind and learning something new and finding out more about the meaning of life and the truth of life. And so it's very philosophical. It's very spiritual too. So if you're, exploring different philosophies or spiritual thoughts, like that there's a reason why, because of all of these energies that are present here. Okay. So that is our Monday in a nutshell. And remember, a lot of these outside of the moon will be carrying over for the rest of the week. Oh, excuse me. All right, so then we've got Tuesday the 12th. And by the way, if you're loving this, please do like and subscribe and hit that bell so that you're notified every time a new video is up weekly. I've been pretty good about staying consistent on this every week since June 13th was when I started this. So thank you so much for those of you who continue to watch and share. I so appreciate your presence, and I hope that I am able to bless you with this kind of information so that you feel a bit more confident stepping into each week and more prepared stepping into each week. Okay, so Tuesday we've got this same, Sun and Scorpio, that's going to be there for a bit. The moon is what has shifted. Okay, so moon here, like I said, the moon moves every 2.5 days. So 2.5 to 3 days. So it's the one that's most changeable, and it's the one that affects our energies quite a bit. It's the closest luminary / planet. I know it's not planet, it's luminary, but it's the closest and celestial body to the earth, to our bodies. And the thing with the moon is that the moon actually filters, like it draws in the energies of all of the other planets and then like focuses it onto earth. So it's a very powerful luminary, the moon, and it is important to understand how it's placed every day and how that is impacting you and influencing you. So anyways, we have our moon in Aries here. So, when moon was in Pisces, it was a little bit more like internal. It's a bit more creative and reflective. And we have the extreme opposite as moon goes into Aries. It is fiery. It's the first sign of the zodiac, the first fire sign. So it is dynamic. It is action oriented. It is even impulsive in nature, and it is expressive. It's passionate. It's enthusiastic. It's very young. It's very outward. Okay. So now, we already have like our mind. So Mercury represents our mind and how we think. It's already in a fire sign. It's already like wanting inspiration and motivation. And then now we have the moon in Aries, also loves, needs inspiration, action, drive, passion. I mean, it just dives in head first, doesn't even need a plan. It just needs to go. It'll figure it out along the way. So this day you're going to probably feel, and remember we have our moon in Leo, which I'm sorry, Mars in Leo. Mars represents our vitality, our energy, literally our energy too. And so that's also in a fire sign. So between our moon and Mars and Mercury all being in fire signs, that is telling us, oh yeah, that's going to tell us, guess what? Mars and Moon are also in trine. So you are not going to be lacking in passion, drive, energy, excitement, and assertiveness. Mars does not back down, and Mars rules Aries. Okay. So Mars is the leader. Mars just goes for it. Mars does not ask for permission. No, Aries does not ask for permission. It needs freedom and independence. It's a very independent sign. And so if you're just like, you know what, I'm going to do what I want right now because it's what I care about, it's what matters, you just go do it. You do it. So it's also very exciting, very, very exciting. So it might be kind of a fun time also to be around people too, because you're going to feel invigorated, and you yourself are going to feel motivated and inspired and be able to uplift others along the way. And then we have not only this moon that's in trine with Mars, but it is also in trine with Mercury. So this is really great for being able to communicate and be able to articulate what it is that you're thinking and feeling. So conversations are going to be way more like lively, dynamic, engaging. That's why I'm saying this might be a really cool time to be socializing, because it might just be a super fun time for you. We do have Moon square Venus. There is a little bit of that challenge there, and Venus is also transitioned here into Capricorn. We'll talk about that in a second. But with Moon square Venus, sometimes there could be disagreements with our moon being in kind of more of a volatile sign. Probably very like passionate speech could come up, which then can cause people to be offended, possibly. Just here's the thing, with Moon in Aries and Mercury in Sagittarius, they are blunt in communication. They are direct. They are they might not have as great tact. like it's not a Libra style where we soften it, we sugarcoat it, make it sound nice and pretty so it comes down easily. Like, no, it's just, here is a lump of truth and there it is. You either like it or you don't like it. That's more of the nature of where Moon and Mercury are at right now. So keep that in mind, that just that very blunt and honest nature sometimes can be a little bit off-putting to others, and that's where we might have that experience with Moon and square with Venus. Now, our Venus has transitioned on this day to Capricorn. Remember, Capricorn represents our what we are devoted to or committed to, and it's an earth sign. So it's very grounded and it's very practical and it's very stable. So with our Venus here, Venus also represents relationships. And so our relationships, the ones that we're probably going to be drawn more to, are the ones that are very predictable, loyal, been around a long time. They're very comfortable relationships. You have a long history with them. And so there may be a need to find and be in company with those types of people in your life. The friends you've had for like 20 years, for example, or 30 years that you just, it feels like family to you. So, and friendships that also you feel there is a long-term future, because that's the thing with Capricorn. Capricorn is not, doesn't really want just a bunch of acquaintances. It wants very rich and substantial types of relationships. And so if you're not feeling or seeing a potential future with this person, whether it's friend or partner, etc., then it may be a little bit more challenging for you to invest any time and energy into that. So, so that's something to keep in mind. And this, even with like our hobbies, because remember, Venus represents our hobbies, our pleasures, our fun and play. And so you may be a bit more thoughtful about where you're spending your time, and very intentional about how you're spending your time when it comes to your fun, play, pleasure, hobby, for example. So I don't think you're going to be a little bit like more just cautious about what you're selecting in this arena of your life. Okay. All right. So there's that. And we're going to continue on. So the moon square Venus is really the only major one to note that's different, other than, moon going to Aries. But then we have Wednesday, we still have moon in Aries. And I only have one thing to say here is that moon is in trine with Jupiter, which is very nice. Let's see, Wednesday the 13th. Oh, I'm sorry, I meant sextile. It's in sextile with Jupiter, which is a very nice combination. And that's going to help bring feelings of optimism and positivity and growth, emotional growth. I feel like that's going to be one of the big takeaways for this week, is that you're going to grow a lot internally, personally. There's going to be a lot of maturity. You're going to be exploring so many parts of yourself and so many like different feelings, that you're going to find yourself just a bit more stable in your identity and stable in how you are handling these transitions. Like, we've been going through a lot of upheavals and changes and chaos for a while, and yeah, we still have a little bit more to go. However, it's almost like you've been strengthening yourself at the same time, and you've been through so many iterations by this point that you are getting better at navigating, all of the intensities and all of the ups and downs. And with moon in Aries, just so you know, this is a time where like you can handle crises, you can handle serious issues. You have the strength, you have the power, you have the intelligence, because it is a very primal type of placement, and animal instincts are very high. And so you can make decisions very quickly, like in an instant, and know what's right, know what is the right way to go about things. Okay, so that is our Wednesday. And then Thursday, this is a very well, we have moon in Taurus. This is a big deal because we're going to have our full moon coming up right afterwards. But on Thursday, we have moon in Taurus, which is exalted. Moon loves being in Taurus. It's like the greatest place that it could be. It's better than being at home. It's on a resort like island vacation, and it is getting fed all of the most decadent foods and the most delicious drinks. Okay, like in the most luxurious satin sheets. Like, it is pampered beyond all belief here with the moon in Taurus. So with that, there's this feeling of being very grounded and very comfortable and very stable, and it's indulging in comforts and pleasures and luxuries. So our moon is super happy here, right? It's very steady here. It's very cozy, and so our sense of emotional safety and security here with moon in Taurus is very heightened. It's much better. So we do have also moon that is in trine with Venus, which that is a nice combination. You're going to feel very safe and comfortable in your relationships, in your partnerships. So this would also be a nice time to be with people. Remember we talked about what kind of relationships. They're going to be usually the ones that have been long-term relationships, solid, has a solid foundation, or relationships that are worth investing in, that you feel that you see a long-term future with. So that's really lovely. We do have one little challenge. We have a moon square Venus moon square the Mars planet, and that one can bring some emotional volatility. Now, look, and it can also bring drive and passion too. Because of this beautiful placement of the moon in Taurus, and Venus is communicating with this. And by the way, Venus rules Taurus, so it's doubly like well placed where this moon is. To me, that Mars, the square to Mars, is not, I don't think we're going to get a bunch of the negative aspects of that. So look, remember, we have to look at the whole picture in context. If anything, because Mars in Leo is a very passionate sign, I see this as you are going to feel more passion and excitement and thrill and drive and motivation for whatever it is that you care about. So that's how I see it playing out. You'll have to let me know if it's anything different. Please comment below, but there you have it. That's my perspective. So Friday. This is important. This is our full moon. We have a full moon in Taurus, okay? And it's going to be happening, to be exact, at 4:28 p.m. Eastern time. So that'll be 1:28 p.m. Pacific time is when it actually happens. Look, if you do any rituals around new moon, full moon, you have a little bit of a window. I do my best to do it right exactly at that time because that's when the energy is at its peak. But you've got a few days. You've got like a few day window. So, but do it on this day. Do it on the evening if possible. If you have a ritual around that. Now, full moon is when it's in Taurus, as you see here. The moon is in the sign of Taurus. When is it full moon? It's when the moon and the sun are opposite each other, okay? And in the middle is Earth, in the middle of the Earth. So as it's an opposition like this, what's happening is we have the light of the sun, right, shining brightly, fully on the moon. And so we have a lot of revelations around this time. There's a lot of strong feelings, right? Heightening of emotions, heightening of feelings. Remember, the moon represents feelings and emotions. So there's an illumination of things, especially from the new moon seeds that you planted back when we had this new moon in Scorpio. Now, a couple of weeks have passed, and this is a time where you're probably starting to see, oh, okay, what I planned, you're starting to see the developments of that new moon seed that was planted a couple of weeks ago. So definitely reflect on what you have noticed since you planted those new moon seeds. So this is a time of insight, okay? This is a time of insight, of clarity, of understanding. Sometimes they are in opposition, so there is tension also present. Remember, red lines bring a bit more challenges, obstacles, or tension. And this kind of tension is wonderful because it helps push us towards our growth and development. So this is where we want to welcome in the challenge here because we want to be able to stretch and grow better. So it can be essentially a catalyst. All right. This tension is like a catalyst for growth. This is also a good time for emotional exploration and definitely self-awareness. I really, really recommend journaling. Okay. I really recommend journaling. I'm not just saying for the sake of doing a ritual for full moon, but more so to let's just look back on the last couple of weeks. What have you gone through? Okay, what have you experienced? How did you respond? How did you react? What are the little changes that you're noticing and seeing? Okay, there has to have been some change. I know you've had some change in recent times. So if there's anything worth sharing, please do let us know in the comments. And just notice where's the full moon. The full moon, like for example, in this place, it's happening in the sixth house. The Taurus is over the sixth house. So let us know where your full moon is at in your chart, and let us know basically what house it is. And you can put that down below. Okay, now let's talk about the other features of this new moon. And do you notice this planet right next to the moon? That's Uranus. And we have moon conjunct Uranus on this day. So basically, this full moon has Uranus as a part of its ingredients. So it's going to be flavoring this full moon. And this does bring some, unpredictability. Okay. So this will probably heighten some of the moodiness that's super common around full moon time. So if you feel a bit more up and down with your moods, that's the reason why. But this can also really enhance your intuition and your creativity, okay, and your need to express and your need to be independent. But flashes of inspiration can come through here with our Uranus here. So this is why I'm like saying journaling is a good idea, especially when you all of a sudden feel it, like you feel, whoa, something just clicked in my head. If you have those kinds of moments, because that's what Uranus brings, something just clicked in my body, like wow, okay, I see it, I got it, like those kinds of moments. Start writing that down. Journal that down. Okay, awesome. All right. So that is our full moon for Friday. We're going to continue on to Saturday. And Saturday, the 16th, our moon has changed. It has transitioned into the sign of Gemini. Do you see how quickly it moves around? So I'm going to close that real quick. And as it's going into Gemini, we are going to have a need for learning, for expressing ourselves, for communicating. It's very mental. Gemini is super mental, so it's very intellectual. It needs a lot of intellectual stimulation. It loves to learn. It likes to play. It likes to do 20 things at once. So our mind's going to be a bit more, all over the place here and fleeting here and going there, and that's expected and normal. We do have moon in sextile with Mars, which is really nice. Like that also is going to bring even more passion. Look, Mars is in Leo, so it's very heart-centered. So there's a connection between the heart and the mind here just because of this arrangement. So I like this harmony that is happening, and this like momentous energy too. There's a lot of movement and action and learning. It's very engaged. Our Mercury is in Sagittarius, our Sun's in Scorpio. I mean, talk about learning. This is like the greatest setup to learn something complex, difficult. I mean, you'll be able to focus. You'll be able to focus. You'll be able to learn, retain. Like this is, again, great time to learn something new. All right. We also have Moon in trine with Pluto, which is such a revealing placement here. Pluto reveals the subconscious. It reveals what's underneath. And so I really appreciate the self-awareness that comes with this arrangement. So you'll learn quite a bit about yourself. I mean, like I said, it's a deep week. It's a very deep week. It's very rich. And you'll be able to understand, like the underlying like psychological dynamics of yourself and even of others. So very intuitive week. Like I really appreciate, what we're about to step into. All right. And then lastly, on Sunday the 17th, our moon is still in Gemini. It is opposite Mercury. So there could be some miscommunication, some conflicts there, or having a little bit of a struggle in expressing and articulating yourself in what you are thinking and feeling. So there's that. We do have moon right next to Jupiter, though. I mean, literally here in this moment at this time is at only 1 degree apart. So that's going to bring optimistic feelings, positivity. I mean, you're going to feel very hopeful about the future. So, and with Mars and Leo, I mean, overall, like I really love the way that we're going to be handling things. I feel like we'll be able to see the silver lining in things. We're going to be able to feel that whatever struggles we're going through, it's going to be worth it, and it's going to grow us in a way that we've never grown before. Like the way that there's so much maturity that's happening in this week and just in this time that we are in. So enjoy. That is the forecast for the 11th to the 17th. I so appreciate your time and attention, and please make sure to like, subscribe, hit that bell so that you're notified every time a new video is up every week. And if you'd like to learn more about how to use essential oils to handle, some of the more challenging interactions that we have with the cosmos, then please check out Rise and Thrive. We'll link it down below. And Rise and Thrive gives us blends, workshops, meditations, protocols, all kinds of things that you would need for dealing with current things, as well as just, common struggles that empaths and healers and artists tend to deal with our level of emotional and energetic sensitivity. So thank you so much. Have a great rest of your week, and we will see you in the next forecast.